Thank you for attending our graduation. Before I begin, I want to thank Mary Bitzer, who was nice enough to critique my speech beforehand. Mary, if you could just stand for a second and wave to everybody. So, because I'm much more junior ranking than the key speakers that we've had before me, if I bomb up here and you feel like booing or heckling me, I ask that you please be classy and not do so. Heckle Mary instead. Or, if you really want to get out of here and relive a fun seminar memory from last winter, there's a fire alarm in the far north corner of this auditorium. If somebody wants to accidentally pull that alarm, that may not be the worst option either. But all joking aside, NIU has two major strengths that separate it from all other schools. We have an excellent faculty that cares and students who want to learn and address real-world issues. First, we have an outstanding faculty whose members have diverse yet applicable backgrounds to teaching us about the intelligence community and want to see us succeed. I think of Miss Young telling tracks 19 and 20 how we can work together on our readings to better manage our time. It's Colonel Newell using Class Jeopardy to cover national strategy and the construction of the Panama Canal. It's Dr. Gay being more than happy to spend time after class to explain how Thailand, South Korea, and Indonesia hit a major economic depression in the late 90s. It's Mr. Duarte and Dr. Spraker explaining the importance of conducting a quick background check of an author so it can be deduced if he or she may have any hidden agendas. It's Mr. Duguid explaining why with 54 countries across the African continent, each with numerous languages, cultures, and religions, we are doing ourselves a disservice by clumping these countries together and simply just labeling them as Africa. It's Mr. Cleveland and Mr. Goodell explaining the agendas of the Kennedy administration, the CIA, the Department of Defense, and the Soviet Union during the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's my chair, Kevin Pettit, seeing me in a crowd of 100 students with my back to him and still walking through all those people just to shake my hand. It's Lieutenant Colonel Smith Hayes offering to share the contact information of her friend with personal insight about my thesis topic. And it's Mr. Walquist, Dr. Ram, and Dr. Bell stopping what they're doing so they can say hi and ask how my thesis was coming along when they weren't even on my thesis committee. And with this combination of insight and genuine interest towards students, I really feel like this faculty was with the students rather than over the students in our efforts to become more knowledgeable. The other thing that I've enjoyed so much about NIU is how we've covered capstones and thesis topics that address real-world issues. And I feel like it was so easy to make friends here because all you had to do was ask someone what they wrote about and just listen. Because that person likely studied a topic which easily lent itself to an interesting conversation. Looney Delva wrote about what China is hoping to accomplish with its private businesses in the Caribbean. Jameson Locklear addressed Egypt's growing water shortage crisis and what it could mean for the country's security. Rebecca Lawfer studied why Al-Qaeda and the Boko Haram are conducting human trafficking and kidnapping operations in West Africa and found their reasons for doing so are significantly different. Zach Vocek wrote about how Russia is generating more icebreaker ships for its Navy and hopes to claim as much of the Arctic as it can as it gradually melts. Eric Buzzard examined the technical strengths and flaws of various polygraph machines. Sarah Zimmerman studied the evolution of various biological agents. And Melissa Johns wrote about China's naval surface fleet capabilities in the East and South China Sea. With these widespread and interesting topics, it takes more effort to disengage than it does to listen and ask questions. And that's what I like so much about our class. We wanted to learn, and we did this in the most sincere way, by asking questions and just listening. And while I'm only one in a graduating class of 257, I bet many of you have learned just as much as I have, if not more, and likely from classes I didn't take, or from instructors I didn't get the pleasure of meeting. And if that's the case, I think it's kind of amazing just how much is being learned here. I also want to mention a few other people. Andy, Kelly, and the rest of the library team. You were always helpful and nice. And even when I would ask for assistance while devouring the Kit Kat bars you had on display, probably forcing yourselves to ask, why do we keep putting this candy out? You were all still great. The same goes for Demarius and Ryan from Tech. You guys were so quick to solve any IT-related issues and were true professionals. Nate McNair and Sergeant Barr, you two are so kind, and anytime I had a question, you always stopped what you were doing to help. And finally, to all our friends and family who were nice enough to help us, whether through watching our kids or just giving a kind word of encouragement. Thank you so much for your support. Altogether, when I look back at my time here, I won't miss the cold winter walks to and from the parking garage. I won't miss the late nights of typing, or the times I would lose a Word document before saving it. But I will definitely miss the faculty in this class because of how much I learned and because of how everyone wanted to help each other succeed. And that's something I think is very unique about NIU. With that, I wish the best of luck to all of you in your careers, and thank you for your time.
I invite you to bow your heads and hearts with me.